So as you all know, WWE has officially been sold. That's the number one thing that the entire wrestling media is talking about. Between that and Vince coming back on the Raw after Mania and completely running that show into the ground. Everyone has talked about that all week. That's a dead horse right now that's been beat around the bush, right? We knew Vince was going to come back. As soon as we found out that he still had the majority voting power in the company, we knew that Vince would be back. Every podcaster, YouTuber, journalist, fan, whatever. If you follow WWE and you know Vincent Kennedy McMahon Jr., Sr., whatever his name is now, you knew that he would be back. That's not a shocker. I think that there is something, maybe a bigger story at play that the wrestling media isn't really covering. And the reason why I don't think they're covering that story is because the wrestling media is not as credible as the wrestling media claims it to be. Now, again, I'm not taking shots to nobody because we do have a lot of good reputable journalists in the wrestling media space to actually put out a good news and all of that good stuff. However, let's be real. Dirt sheets, the journalists, these people only get information that promotions want them to have. That should be a well-known fact at this point. Prime example. Let's look at just one example. Cody Rhodes coming back to Wrestlemania, right? Nobody in WWE, well, of course they knew, but coming down in the comment sections, everybody saw the rumors of Cody Rhodes coming back to WWE, right? After leaving AEW. We all saw the rumors. However, we never saw the manifestations. We never got the concrete evidence of it. None of your usual suspects, whenever you get leaks about that kind of stuff, they never came to fruition until Cody popped up at WrestleMania and everybody was like, oh, holy crap, Cody Rhodes is back in WWE. That's a prime example of dirt sheets only get information that wrestling promotions want them to have. So now, with that being said, follow me on a wild theory. Perhaps it's a theory, but let's just have a conversation about the real reason why WWE really got sold. It all starts with Vincent Kennedy McMahon, right? The man that took the company over from his father because he had a vision of taking his father's company to heights never before seen. Something that had never before been done. That was his vision. That was what he wanted to do with, at the time, the WWF, right? So, a lot of people say that Vince kind of stole the company from his father. Some people say different, whatever. Either which way it goes, the history is there, you can look it up. Long story short, he took the company from his father. Now, Vince took that company from his father, and give the devil his due. He did what he said he wanted to do. He brought his vision to life. He took his father's little rinky-dink wrestling promotion and made it into a household name, globally recognized brand across every market that you can think of. Vincent Kennedy McMahon did that. He revolutionized the world of professional wrestling single-handedly by himself. Yes, he did that. Little Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And because he did that, maybe Vince ended up getting, I don't know, a God complex when it came down to the world of sports entertainment, as he dubbed it. See, in Vince's mind, he's the only one that knows how to run WWE. And one could argue that when you look at his track record of what he's done in the industry, you kind of wouldn't be wrong if you went with that school of thought. However, upon closer examination of his track record, here is where the questions begin to come into play at. Because see, for the last, some would say 5, some would say 3, 4, I'm going to say about 10, maybe, at least for the last 10 years, Vince has really been out of sync with the vibe of professional wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it. He's been out of the sync with the five of his company. See, how can I put this nicely? Vince has failed to realize and take advantage of key moments and opportunities that organically happened that would have possibly made hand over feet buckets of money. Hands down. But the reason why he missed those opportunities was because somewhere along the line he got locked into the idea of a booking strategy that is no longer working, because that booking strategy is what brought him the success on the levels that he really never fathomed that he can have. See, Vince is a narcissistic, egotistic maniac. That's obvious when you listen to the horror stories that have came out from all the different talent who've since left under the umbrella of WWE following the birth of AEW. We've all heard the stories. Cesaro, Miro, Dean Ambrose is the biggest one. Chris Jericho. We've been there. We've seen this. We know what it is. Vince McMahon is driving the company into the ground. Vince didn't see it that way. So, you have all of this piling up for years. Now, let's fast forward to the summer of last year, July of 2022. The summer that shook the wrestling industry to its core. Breaking news. I believe it was a Friday night, roughly 5 o'clock on a Friday. Word came out that Vince McMahon was stepping down from his role as chairman of the WWE, effective immediately, stepping away from his duties, following the allegations of multiple misappropriation of funds, and as well as inappropriate sexual accusations, right? And I'm saying accusations because legally, I don't know what happened. Okay, so allegedly and accusations are the terms that I will be using when I reference those things, because I don't have the legal clarification or the legal bandwidth to actually say that he did it. I wasn't there, and I'm not going to make accusations against anybody. All right. Now, back to what I was saying. Vince had all of this come up. He had to step down. Enter Triple H. Now, mind you, that we as fans had seen what Triple H was already capable of when he was running NXT, right? Particularly NXT Black and Gold, which I personally, along with probably many other people, would say was definitely the best rendition of NXT, period. Despite the fact that many people would say that NXT Black and Gold did underperform against AEW in the Wednesday Night Wars. However, I would say that that was just completely unfair. When you have a brand new wrestling promotion entering into a space that has not been tampered with for over 20 years, they're going to get eyes and attention immediately, right? That's neither here nor there. But in NXT Black and Gold, we saw things that we really wanted on the main roster. We saw logical booking. We saw good storytelling. We saw good character development. We saw well-timed pushes. We saw well thought about and put together championship runs, title changes, the entire presentation, the entire aesthetic, all of the logistics that went into NXT Black and Gold were all of the fine inner workings that really gave us wrestling fans, us lifelong fans of WWE, hope that one day Triple H, when given the time, when given the power, when given the authority, could restore WWE back to its days of glory. The days of glory that made us, that made me as a child fall in love with their product, to fall in love with their company, to fall in love with their promotion. The days of glory that made me fall in love with professional wrestling. That's what we hope for. And when Vince McMahon stepped down in July of 2022, that's what we got. Triple H came in and immediately began undoing some of the wrongs that Vince McMahon did. Whether it was wasting characters or poor booking choices, the main one that he caught a lot of flack for was re-signing a bunch of people that Vince had let go. Which honestly is very hypocritical when you think about it, because the same people that were complaining that that were complaining about WWE firing so many people, then turn around and complain when Triple H hires those people back. But in the middle, nobody complained whenever Tony Khan went on hiring sprees. It just baffles me. I digress. But Triple H comes in, he starts fixing all of these things. He starts putting things in play. And what do we see? Despite the fact that SummerSlam was pretty much an already booked show, it was something about SummerSlam that just gave you hope going forward what the future of WWE could be. It gave you hope of something to look forward to. Especially when you take that and you put it in conjunction with the Bloodline booking, which, oh my God, just amazing. And for 9 months, 9 glorious months, we got that. Up until about January of 2023, which not quite 9 months. Oh, that's what, 7 months? 6 month mark, somewhere in that time frame. Yeah, 6 months. The report started coming out that Vince McMahon was trying to manipulate or force his way back into power for a supposed sale of the company. Now, the reason why, on paper anyway, or what Wrestlmania has reported, that Vince wanted to sell the company was, or wanted to come back, was because he wanted to sell the company. TV rights deals and all this other stuff. And he just wanted to sell the company. That's not the real reason why Vince wanted to sell the company. If I was a betting man, I would say that the real reason why Vince McMahon has sold the WWE came down to one reason alone: his ego, his pride. Vince McMahon can't simply understand and can't, his ego would not let him grasp the fact that Paul Levesque can run the WWE better than than Vince McMahon can. It won't let him. Vince McMahon's ego won't let him concede to the notion that he is no longer the best booker for his own promotion. That's a tough pill for him to swallow. So, rather than admit defeat, sell the company. It's not like Shane can take it over. Because let's be real. Let's be 100% real. If you understand the psychology of who Vince McMahon was as a kid growing up and how he got into the business and all of that good stuff, and what his original dreams and ambitions were, and even the truth behind the on-screen Mr. McMahon character, if you understood the psychological backdrop behind that, then you will understand that, realistically speaking, there's a part of Vince McMahon that wishes that Triple H was actually his real son over Shane. Yep. I said it. Somebody had to. Now, how does this decision to sell the company affect us as fans? Affect us as Wrestlmania or YouTubers, podcasters, or whatever you want to call it, content creators? We're yet to find out. It's an ongoing battle so far. We've already saw what happened to Raw after Mania. Worst Raw ever. Worst Raw after Mania ever. Waiting to see what happens on SmackDown. One thing's for sure, all right, from a content creator's perspective, this is going to definitely keep us well employed or occupied. From a fan perspective, this is getting ready to suck beyond your wildest imagination. If the Monday Night Raw that we saw after Mania was any kind of clue of what we can expect, then I'm not looking forward to it. Now, granted, we have lived through Vince McMahon booking before, right? Let us not forget that he, up until July of last year, Vince McMahon was running the show. Okay, that wasn't that long ago. But maybe it's just me. But the Raw that we just saw seemed way more out of the box than usual for a typical Vince McMahon Raw. Maybe the mustache went to this man's mind. I have no idea. At the end of the day, we as the fans have just been screwed over. All because of someone else's ego. But that's all I got to say for now. My name is Steve Ramon. If you like what you've heard, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hit that like button. Share. Hit the bell icon. Turn on notifications. So this way, whenever I upload, you don't miss it.